Hey guys, it's Lauren here, joining the topic for this month's book discussion with Misty the Book Rat about underrated or underknown books. I have quite a few that I wanted to discuss with you today. I know it's been a while since the last time I've made a video, so I'm also going to make a video of a small book haul that I've gotten of some books that I got this month. So without further ado, I'll get started. These books are in no particular order, but most of them I've read recently, and I've really enjoyed them and really want to share them with you guys and encourage you to read them. They're in two categories, I guess you would say, because I love to read memoirs. They're my favorite book genre, but I also like to read fiction as well. So I got a good assortment of both. So I'm going to start with the memoirs first, because I've noticed a lot of the book readers on this YouTube channels, all the book bloggers, don't really read a lot of memoirs, and I wanted, or a lot of nonfiction in general, and I kind of wanted to dispel that reputation of nonfiction or memoirs or biographies being boring or dry. So I wanted to share a couple of books that I highly recommend that I think you guys should pick up. So this one I just read recently. It's called A Long Way Gone, and it's a memoir about a boy soldier in Africa and his trials, how he ended up becoming a boy soldier, what happened during that time, and how he was rehabilitated. I thought this book was fabulous, very sad. I mean, I don't know how I would feel after experiencing all that and then writing a book about it, because it was a very dark and very graphic book, but it really read well. It flowed well. The language was really good. I mean, considering a lot of things that, you know, he was from Africa and all these things. So I really enjoyed this book and highly recommend it. It's a very easy read. I mean, it's really short, but it's not easy in the fact of its like emotional content. The next book I read is Falling into Love. I read this book, this is also another memoir. I read this book a couple years ago. It's very funny. It's about how an average guy got the girl of his dreams. I thought it was very cute. It is a Christian book, but it's not an in-your-face kind of Christian book. It's, you know, it's there. You know these people are God-loving people, but it's not in your face, you know, converting you or anything crazy like that. Again, very short read. It was very entertaining. I was laughing out loud. All the different stories of how he screwed up, you know, on his dates or Valentine's Day. It was a very enjoyable read, and again, it's very short. It's by Ned Erikson. This one, another one, was another Christian memoir, but again, not in your face. And I am Christian, but I don't believe in your face kind of religion, you know, trying to just the radicalism that you get. And that's, I think, why Christians have gotten such a bad reputation. But this book is called Here's to Hindsight by Tara-Leigh Cobble, and she's an indie Christian singer. She travels around, and it's just about her personal experience in her life, her relationship with God, and just really human, really real. Nothing, you know, fake, like I'm holier than thou, I'm such a good Christian, and all this crazy stuff that you get with radicalism, but very real, you know, like I'm a human being, I serve God, yes, but, you know, I still make mistakes. That sort of thing. And that's what I love about writers like this. They're not in your face, they don't make you feel uncomfortable, they just let you know that you're not alone. Again, another very short read. So it's a very good memoir. I really enjoyed it. Again, funny, very entertaining, very inspirational. She uses a lot of quotes from songs, because she is a singer, quotes from songs that really spoke to her, both Christian and non-Christian, you know, because it's not about being holier than thou. It's about being real and realizing that we're all people and we're all humans and we all make mistakes no matter what. Another book I absolutely love and highly recommend for summer, very easy read, memoir, is Summer at Tiffany. This was a memoir about a girl who lived in the Midwest, went to school in the Midwest, and about her and a friend traveling for the summer to New York and getting jobs at Tiffany & Company, and just their experience in the 40s, how they experienced life in New York in the 40s. It was very good, very light, very, it was just a very good read. I loved it. I read it in winter, but I highly recommend it as a summer read. I think it's very, very good. It's by Marjorie Hart, and I don't know if she's still living now. I don't know when this book was written, but very good book, regardless. Another one that is popular, but I don't think still a lot of people I don't think have read it, but this is definitely one of the books that helped introduce me into the world of memoirs. And this is The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This is a book about Jeanette Walls' upbringing, and how it was a crazy upbringing, so weird. Her parents were very different, very eccentric. They lived in pretty much poverty her whole, teenage years and high school years and everything like that. So it was definitely a weird read, but very inspirational at the same time, because, I mean, even though she went through all these experiences of her dad being drunk and her mom not wanting to be, the conventional housewife that takes care of her children, she still came out a level-headed, inspiring human being. And I really like that about this book, and about her voice, like all these weird things that her mother would do or her father would do, and yet she came out so inspiring. It's just a very inspiring read, and that's what I love about memoirs. They're very inspiring reads. This last memoir is called The Color of Water, A Black Man's Tribute to His White Mother. It's by James McBride. I read this a while ago as well, but I've always loved it. I thought this book was great. It gave me a perspective of, and I could relate, but gave perspective about being coming from a multicultural family, because I come from a white and a Hispanic family, so you get that racist a little bit sometimes, and it was interesting to read it from a black and white man's perspective. So again, a very inspiring read, very short, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Alright, now I'm going to go to my fiction category. These are all adult fiction books. So I've been getting into some teen fiction recently again, but I haven't found anything that is... I've been reading mostly things that are pretty well known. So these are some adult fictions that are really good, even for teens to read, and that have really good messages and just really well written. The first one is The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. This is so good, so intriguing. I love fairy tales and I love folk tales, and the way the author did this, it just putting stories that helped the plot get along. It was just fabulous. It was brilliant. I love that. And when an author can do that, it's great. But it takes place between Australia and England, between the modern day and the 1913. And it's about Nell and her granddaughter. I can't remember her name. I'm looking for it and I can't find it. Cassandra. Her granddaughter Cassandra, and just how Nell was abandoned on a ship going from England to Australia, and how she found out on her 21st birthday that she was abandoned after being adopted into a family in Australia, and her quest in England to search for her family, and then she ends up passing away, and which is no surprise. It's in the beginning, so it's totally fine. And her granddaughter ends up taking over and finding out what happened and who her family was, and all the mysteries. So it's a mystery, a family mystery, but it was so good. So many turns and twists, and the ending is something you totally don't expect. So I loved loved this book. This book I read last summer, and I actually got it when Borders was closing. It's called Alice, I Have Them. And I probably wouldn't have given it a shot if it wasn't really cheap at Borders. And it was Melanie Benjamin. And so far, she's become really one of my favorite authors. This book is about the real Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and how Lewis Carroll knew an actual Alice, and how he used her as his muse for the book Alice in Wonderland. So it's kind of historical fiction. There are a lot of gaps in that story in real life between, you know, what happened when Lewis Carroll fell out of favor with Alice's family, and the author tries to does her best to try to fill in the gaps. So I thought it was very interesting, kind of twisted, but really cool because it's historical fiction, and that's one of my favorite genres as well, historical fiction. So it's very, very good. Another book I got at Borders when they were going out of business was called Russian Winter. I picked up this book and I thought, you know, I don't know about this. I was unsure, but I picked it up for two reasons. One, because it's about a ballerina, and two, it's because it's about Russia, and my fiance is from Russia. So I figured, why not? I'll give it a shot. It was amazing, and I really, really wish that people would pick up this book, and not a lot of people know about this book, but I think this book was fabulous. It takes place between Russia and America. Again, another kind of mystery thing. It's family saga type of thing. Awesome, awesome read. I got 3 more books here. I'm going to go through them really quick, but these are, again, books I really highly recommend that you guys check out. Another one is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. And this is a story that takes place over 3 generations, 3 decades, I mean, and it's about how these friends have been friends for 30 years, how they met in the 70s, how they both went to college together. It's just like a best friend kind of girly story. It's totally mushy, made me cry. It was recommended to me by my cousins, and I love my cousins, so I was like, definitely wanted to read this book. And as you can see, 2 best friends, and it's just everything you want a girl book to be about. It was just good. I can't say anymore, but then just check it out. Please check it out. It's a bit thick, a little over 400 pages, but totally worth it. Another one, Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. It's a Christian novel, and usually I don't go too much for Christian novels because they can tend to be predictable, and I don't like predictable. I like plot twisting and everything. But this is about, takes place in California during the 1850 gold rush, and it is about a prostitute. Christian book about a prostitute. But actually, if you read the Bible, there are quite a few prostitutes. So, don't be shocked here, people. But it takes place during that time, and it's about how a prostitute finds love. Sounds kind of corny, it sounds kind of cliche, but honestly, I was crying my eyes out. I can't tell you enough how amazing this book is, and how you just have to read it. You just have to give it a chance. You might be skeptical. I was skeptical. Several people pushed it on me, recommended to me, and finally I was like, alright, I gotta read it. Amazing. Francine Rivers is a fabulous writer. Now the cover kind of looks cheesy. I always think the covers with girls in dresses is kind of lame, but don't let it fool you. It's amazing. And the last one I read this winter, A Walk Across the Sun. This takes place in the modern day era, and it actually has to do with a topic that is dear to my heart, because I would like to eventually work with women who are victims of human trafficking. And this book takes place in India, it takes place in America. It's about this American lawyer who just went through kind of a split with his wife, trying to figure out what to do with his life, ends up going to India and working with a nonprofit organization